Up next on End of the Day Beer Review, we're going to be looking at Brewhouse Coffee Stout. This is by Central Waters Brewing Company, and it's coming in at 7.4% ABV. Check it out. Hi, it's Rich, and welcome to End of the Day Beer Review. And today, I am looking at Central Water Brewing Company's Brewhouse Coffee Stout. And this says ale brewed with coffee on it. It also says a coffee lover's delight, a wonderful stout infused with coffee that is specially roasted for us by Emy J's in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. And this was brewed and canned in Amherst, Wisconsin. The one thing I will say that's a little annoying about this can is that the ABV was not on it. Now, I've had other stuff from Central Waters. I don't remember off the top of my head what, but I could go through my videos and check it out. But I love a good coffee stout. And coming in at 7% ABV, that's a very drinkable, very approachable coffee stout. Not going to hammer you with the ABV on this, which is nice. Let's give it a try. Going to use the trusty Guinness glass for this. Although I think the trusty Guinness glass, let's see. So stain. And I'll tell you something, no matter what you do, no matter how much you clean these glasses, the camera really gets you every single time. You know what? I don't trust this glass now. So we will use this glass. And I don't even think I'm editing this stuff out. All right. So I'll use my Big Sur glass. So, all right. Now it pours thin, really thin actually. It's also a very, very light brown, almost a little orange tinge to it, which is interesting, orangey brown. It's sort of like that 70s brown, 70s sort of burnt orange color it looked for a second with the light the way it is. You know, that couch that everybody's uncle had in their house. Okay, so it pours nice. You know, I can hear the carbonation. I think the carbonation is a little heavy on this one because there is about 2 fingers worth of head there. And I did not pour particularly hard. I was trying to be a little cognizant of that. I'm getting some roastiness. But it's more of the stout roast, sort of like the barley roast that you get. There's something else there. I just can't place it. All right, you know what? Let's give it, so there's a good amount of roast here. It's more the stout roast. I'm getting a little bit of the coffee, but not a tremendous amount. I'm hoping it's gonna be there. Wow. I have to tell you folks, I opened this can and put my nose to this glass and I was completely underwhelmed. The nose on this beer is deceptive. And what I mean by that is the nose has a little hint of roast to it. This is a powerhouse of flavor. In fact, I think part of it is I was so expecting bland, basic beer, and then it just hit me with like, it is a really robust coffee stout. Good flavors of chocolate on the front, that nice roastiness, and it ends with a little bit of bitterness that sort of ties the flavor together. But it's not done in a subtle way. It's just like, boom, it's there. There's a good burn in the belly, although at 7.4% ABV, I think, sort of understandable, a little higher than the average beer. This is exceptionally good. The coffee flavor is so robust. It's the type of flavor you only get from good, like, artisanal coffee. In fact, I have to be honest, I haven't had a beer with coffee of this quality in it since Gusto's Out There coffees, the ones where they work with Out There Coffee in Jersey, because that coffee is just so good. And this reminds me of that. There's such a good brewed coffee flavor to this beer that it's absolutely amazing. And the funny thing is it takes you completely by surprise. Because when I went to drink this, I was unimpressed with the color. I was sort of unimpressed with the nose. And I wasn't expecting just the absolutely overwhelming flavor that came out of this beer. This is fantastic. So I guess we don't have to talk about would I buy this again. Yes, absolutely I would. I will say this, because I don't want to be, just gush over this like it's the greatest beer I've ever had. It's very, very good, and it was very surprising because the nose was so basic. But what's amazing about this is, again, the coffee comes through so clearly. The roast is so good. And that bitterness on the back end, there's where I'm going to begin to develop a problem with this beer. Because it seems to be cumulative. It's building, and it's getting more bitter. So that first drink, the bitterness was good, and it sort of tied everything together. The second one, the bitterness is getting a little bit distracting. And yeah, by the third sip, the bitterness is getting a little bit overwhelming. So I guess I really do like this a lot to start, but I would like to see the bitterness dialed down a little bit. Although I don't even know if that's going to be possible considering the quality of the coffee that they're using. You know, like that might just be the side effect. Would I buy Central Waters Brewing Company's Brewhouse Coffee Stout again? Yes, I would. And not only that, but this is the type of beer I would share with people. I would sit there and go, hey, this is a really good coffee stout. You should give it a try. And the level of alcohol is such that it's not overwhelming, to introduce a stout newbie, if you will, to this particular beer. I will say that the bitterness could also be something that would be appealing to somebody who's more of an IPA person, because that's always the thing that turns me off to IPAs, is the bitterness on the back end of it. So there is bitterness on the back end of this, but it's nowhere near as distracting as I expected it to be. So this is a pretty solid beer, and it's definitely one I would recommend giving a try. I'm pretty sure I got this at like Fast Times Beverage up in Poughkeepsie. And I want to say it was like $4 or $4.99 for the can. So not overwhelmingly expensive, but again, it is Wisconsin and I am in New York, so it had to get here. Another beer I would love to try at the source. I really wonder how this tastes coming right out of the tap. But definitely one I would try again. I'm gonna sit back, enjoy the rest of this one slowly though, because that bitterness does creep up on you. And I will see you all next time on End of the Day Beer Review. Cheers.